Welcome to Movies to Fall Asleep To. I'm your host, Tristan Miller, and I don't sleep so good. That's why I'm turning to the best of the best, some of my favorite people, to talk about their comfort movies, in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, I'll get a little shut-eye, and I hope it helps you get some rest too. So close those eyes, and open those ears, and drift off while we talk about our favorite movies.
Hello everybody, welcome to Movies to Fall Asleep To. My name is Tristan.
Welcome to Movies to Fall Asleep To. I'm your host, Tristan Miller, and I don't sleep so good. That's why I'm turning to the best of the best, some of my favorite people,
Hello, Tristan.
to talk about their comfort movies, in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, I'll get a little shut-eye, and I hope it helps you get some rest too. So close those eyes, and open those ears, and drift off while we talk about our favorite movies.
This is a great question. And I first want to establish that I actually can't fall asleep to movies. It's a block for me. So I reject the premise. Okay.
Good, I'm glad.
I reject it.
Not everything's for everyone. I don't know what to tell you.
I know it's very. One of my best friends, he had never seen Jurassic Park. I put it in asleep within 5 minutes. He never even got to the dinosaurs. Yeah.
I
Yes.
was gonna say that's insane, but admittedly, that first 20 minutes is quite peaceful, actually.
It is very peaceful. He's fallen asleep during dates. So I have friends that. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's adorable. So yeah, I have many friends that fall asleep to movies. But this is all to say is it is actually a real block for me in that sleepovers. I would just be the last one up because the movie would still be playing. I just narratively need to close the gap. So I do think because the point is more of a rolling narrative, let's say, you're kind of going from character to character, from Harry Nilsson song to Harry Nilsson song. It has less of that urgency, narrative urgency. So I first encountered this film actually in my science class because
They talk about rocks.
I talk about rocks. I don't know why our science teacher did this, and it wasn't during science. Like we would have a legitimate science class, yes, and then we had another class where she would do entire teaching units using different pieces of media. So sometimes it was literally like Star Trek. We would watch an episode of Star Trek.
But
And
she's a really cool teacher, and that's why she did this.
I did have a really yes. I honestly did. I mean, part of it is because it was a private Catholic school, so no one is checking up on what we're learning. And I will say we're very lucky that she also did like science. So
Yeah.
that is that's not always the case. So yes, after she was done teaching science, we would have these almost like more morality units or just kind of like life units. We did another one on the Dr. Seuss Butter Battle book, just about war and the pointlessness of it all. We did a thematic. We did one on. We watched Grave of the Fireflies.
What?
Yes.
For you?
Yes. This is 6th grade was our yep. Yup.
A film I
Yeah.
still, as an adult, refuse to see.
I like in a way I respected it because it's I guess we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about like the worst moments of humanity, and use media to do it, which very ironically, is kind of a video essay, and I'm sure laid some sort of
Yeah.
ground. Yeah. So thank you, teachers. But yes, so this
Thank
was.
you, teachers. Maggie Mae Fish, like you with like the got milk.
Thank you, teachers.
Read.
Yeah. Actually, my aunt, one of my aunt and my uncle were both teachers in this small, Catholic school environment, and my aunt got in trouble by one of the parents because she was teaching morality through the Harry Potter book, and it was my friend's mom, was like, no, took a huge stand. Very embarrassing
So
for.
interesting because in a way she was right, but not for the right reasons.
Yes, absolutely. The worst person I know makes a great point.
Honestly, this movie stuck with you. Do you remember your first reaction?
Yes, I remember. I love this animation style. Just very nostalgic, so of its time and place. The line point. So immediately I was taken by the look of it, the color of it, even the simplicity of it for the first. It's like a story within a story. Like Me and My Arrows, kind of the first the first song we come across. And so I think immediately I was taken by it, just taken. I remember coming home and like telling my mom, everybody's parents are a Beatles fan, so I was like, yeah, it's like narrated by Ringo Starr, just like Tom's the Tank Engine.
Which could not be better. Apparently in the original broadcast it's Dustin Hoffman, which changes the whole tone of this. It's like you gotta listen to some stories that I'm telling you, rather than like this warmth that Ringo naturally has to his voice.
Yes, warmth and like whimsy. He's the right person for the job. I don't agree with Dustin Hoffman.
Luckily, I looked this up on the Wikipedia. Apparently, like they paid him like $20,000 to do it, and they're like, we're not gonna do that again. This is terrible. This is the first time I saw it, but I'd heard of it before because I watched a Harry Nilsson documentary, and he's someone whose music I really like, and I forget. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think he would want it that way. Like he was very, in his own mind, in the,
I used to do this bit on stand-up because like Harry Nilsson died on Valentine's Day, and he wrote One is the Loneliest Number. It's just like a little too on the nose. Like, I don't want to give notes to God, but like, come on.
Come on. That's a little lazy.
Exactly.
I don't.
I love the animation in this as well. There's other stuff that's done in that similar style, and I just can't recall it. I think maybe some of the like I want to say off-brand Dr. Seuss stuff as well.
Yes. There's also the I think they're from the 70s. I might be pulling that out of my ass, but there were like a couple characters, and they were all like rounded, kind of, with these like bright primary colors. Like they all have weird names, like Miss Smile or something.
Oh, yeah, Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah. Yes. Like that's a little in this vein.
71, so it's definitely around. But yeah, it's really just warm and comforting. The whole thing, I was like, oh, this is perfect. And by the way, it's available for free on YouTube, so you can check it on. I do want to come back to you not falling asleep to movies and ask you, do you fall asleep to anything?
I do. So I can fall asleep to auditory things. Yeah. So podcasts, books.
Example
This one. Exactly. The dulcet tones. Yeah. So I feel like I can have one stimulation, but I think once it once it becomes visual, like I feel a necessity in me, an unhealthy, almost like a FOMO. Um,
Oh yeah, true.
yes, like this very, very prominent FOMO feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's like, well, it's just another 45 minutes to an hour. Like,
Truly, yeah, I am. The irony of this podcast is I generally don't fall asleep to a movie. It's just kind of like an excuse to talk to people about comfort movies and movies that I love. And
mhm.
I am with you. I generally fall asleep to an audiobook every night, and it is because like the physical weight of the television screen will keep me awake. You know.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
conversely, I'll put on a movie late at night. Like I started for whatever reason at like 1 in the morning, started watching After Hours for the first time,
Oh my
and
God.
and I was like, I need like I got about halfway through it. I'm like, I'm gonna fall asleep. I need to like pause this. And what a picture to watch at that late at night. I was just like, I've always heard this is good. Let me just put it.
Right, right. Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it is after hours. It's the time that they
it
suggest.
is the it is the time. He
Yeah.
just kind of expected you maybe to like snort some coke and like and stay up and like
For sure. Go to a diner or
power
whatever.
through it.
Yeah.
You know.
What are your go-to audiobooks or podcasts you listen to fall asleep?
I have friends that literally for like 10 years
Mm-hmm.
have been Brandon Sanderson
Mm-hmm.
heads, like, and I swear to God, I tried about 3 separate times to like read one of his books, and every single one I like bounced right off of. I could, it was like impenetrable to me. So honestly, if you had asked me this before like the last 4 months, I would have said nonfiction. I
Mm-hmm.
listened to for most of my adulthood. I listened to nonfiction books, historical books, both like sweeping historical books with a fun lens, like Debt is a fun one. How we
Sure.
invented the idea of debt and how that
Mm-hmm.
led to slavery and
Mm-hmm.
and just things like that, but also like specific historical events, really digging into I forget the name of the book, but a very popular one came out last year about the Dust Bowl. That was
Oh, sure. Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, followed for stories throughout the Dust Bowl. So that is my normal go-to, but
Gotcha.
have finally found a Brandon Sanderson book that sucked me in.
Mm-hmm.
It got me. It's the Stormlight
Mm-hmm.
Archive.
Nice.
uh and now I get it. Again, I'm not sure if like every book of his will be for me, but it is refreshing in that it is a familiar kind of high fantasy mixed in the light, kind of maybe like steampunk,
Mm-hmm.
but the character motivations are very modern, very accessible. There's things about education, or
Mm-hmm.
like uh not being able to get ahead because you're not there talks about class and how we perceive each other. Actually, my friend pointed out that there's a lot of uh like cognitive therapy
Oh, interesting.
written in the book, like characters reframing things
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
in internally about themselves. So in that regard, it is a relaxing thing to fall asleep to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh yeah, so
Nice.
lately it has been that. Historically it has been
Historically.
historical. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's very nice. Yeah. Just share. I generally fall asleep. Like I have a library, and it's generally like Star Wars books I from my childhood that I've heard more than
Okay.
once. So I can just go,
Okay.
this narrator's voice means it's time for me to go to sleep, and I can just go.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, this
but
man
yeah,
is telling me one of the many stories that I know from the galaxy far, far away.
exactly. Same.
uh I have never
Yeah.
read the Star Wars books, but my partner has, and every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while they will like bring up a like really cool concept that was like in one of the books, and it's just like fascinating they haven't. put
yeah.
that in any of the movies yet.
There's
I'm sure you're thinking of many right now.
yeah. Yeah, there's heaps and heaps, and it's just like I don't know. It's there's the I understand completely when Disney made the decision to be like none of this we're using because there
Mhm.
was like 20 years of this stuff, and you're like I'm not gonna sort through all this garbage
Right, right,
because like
right.
there is on one hand like really interesting concepts, but also like a giant Bugs Bunny looking alien. So it's like what are we? You have to take the good with the bad. Um,
Yes,
but
yes.
back to the point.
Hmm.
Have you just listened to the album by itself? Because it was originally just an album, and then they made this around it.
Yes, yeah. I love the album. The cover work of the album,
Mm-hmm.
it's like cross stitch. It's like immediately gives you, the cozy vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a dog, but I always imagined when I got one, I would name him Arrow.
Oh, that's very sweet.
I love the album. I love Harry Nielsen as well. So, I feel like eh, how was I not going to like this? But I do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the fluffiness of
Mm-hmm.
me and my arrow. Like it's literally 3 lines that he repeats for like, and I love it. And then
Harry was so good at that.
the one about the teardrops and the whale, like
Mm-hmm.
that. That one's about
Mm-hmm.
dying, and our
Yeah.
bodies are becoming part of the world.
Yeah.
Have you seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You
Not
yet?
yet. No.
Okay. This is not a spoiler, but there's one moment where the girl's like, "Mommy, can you sing me to sleep? Can you sing me the song about the whale?" And it's literally the Harry Nielsen whale whistle. She just starts like
Good.
singing this story about a whale that's decomposing under the water.
That's so interesting. 'Cause, that recently I can't remember who was on Ask Hank Anything, and they're like, "Where do whales go when they die?" And so it's like literally there. That's so interesting.
Literally.
Yeah. I love that. Also, Me and My Arrow like charted in the '70s.
Yes.
People were like, "I love this
Yes.
song," and it's so
Uh-huh.
relaxing and so nice. And I think Harry was so good at like this sort of like lulling, sort of like a lullaby, I guess is what you would call it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Um.
Absolutely. And also it's like, as silly as the song is, it is like, oh, he makes a friend with a dog because the next scene is like him being like severely bullied for like
Yeah.
his difference.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the story of the point.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's othered by
Mm-hmm.
their difference from their peers, and kind of like a little quest to, I think he thinks he's, just they're better off without me, and then
Mm-hmm.
learns that no, maybe it's okay to not have a point.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's such a like nice little kind of like morality tale. And as you said, he starts off by being banished by less
Hmm.
than savory count and his son,
Hmm.
and then slowly goes, oh well, let me learn about the world, going to this pointless forest. And it's also one of those things that's, I think, thematically really nice. Is obviously he lives in a pointed village where everyone has pointed heads and everything's pointed, and then they go to what is known as the pointless forest, and everything still has a point there, like trees are still
Hmm.
trees and all that. And so it is also like speaking to this like social thing where we other things seemingly kind of at random. We're all more similar than we think.
Absolutely. And the idea, I remember this from the
Mm-hmm.
unit that I did on it, but the importance of play
Mm-hmm.
outside of a, like a rigid, my art needs to have an immediate benefit
Mm-hmm.
to blank my career, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a little uh oxymoron because within the pointless forest you find points or you learn about yourself, and that
Mm-hmm.
is also valuable. It doesn't need to have a specific you don't always need to be working for the man,
Yeah, you don't have to have a goal. You don't need to be progressive. Sometimes the work is just doing the work, and that's enough.
And that's enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. I very much like that, and I think that's very valuable. Like, I'm not a very good painter, but I love to paint. So it's just for me, and that's fine.
Yeah, singing.
Mm-hmm.
I have no desire to do it other than in, pure karaoke.
Yeah,
Like,
for the joy of it. Yeah.
it's for me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and I think it's a particularly millennial thing to be like, I have a hobby. How can I make money off of it? And
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
really tough. And I think it's like you got to really hold some stuff for yourself. And I think that's really important.
Hmm.
And I do like how we've been in this conversation over the last couple of years where we're like, well, art doesn't have to be good to be like of value. Like doing it
Absolutely.
and having a go at it. And also like this whole thing of like, well, the first thing's going to be bad because you don't know what you're doing. And that's fine.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, I really something that really struck me about this film that I really love is the overlapping dialogue. It's
Yeah.
really interesting because like it's also a bunch of like voice actors from like Rocky and Bullwinkle and stuff, and there's a certain tone and quality of the voice acting that is so lovely. But it's also
Hmm.
people keep just interrupting each other in a way that
Yes.
is pretty realistic and also like kind of overwhelming but also relaxing at the same time because it's all just kind of noise, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes. It gives the feeling of like I don't I have a I have a big extended family, so when like
Mm-hmm.
all the cousins are, so like a kind of like a familial, or like a, even though he's alone on
Mm-hmm.
this journey. Yes, the voices imply and comfort the listener that they're not, it's very naturalistic,
Mm-hmm.
which is very funny because the art style is so
Yeah.
unrealistic. That is such a fun contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also I think a lot of us now, when we see something that's animated, it is probably made from a huge studio, and a lot of that is like clear dialogue
Yeah.
lines, uh and,
Famously,
not
Disney does
always.
like two
And
separate recording, and they just get the lines, and they don't like have you interplay at all. Yeah.
yes, yes, yeah, so yeah, it feels very
Mm-hmm.
yeah, very cool, or like tactile. Also, if you were someone that fell asleep to movies, I could imagine that could be like comforting, the many voices. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also like I think to your point is like very familiar. Everyone is
Hmm.
familiar with each other, and that like really allows you to like I don't know, get on board. And then also like particularly when it comes to the dad and the son, where it's like him just kind of not talk he's talking at his kid, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like, I know, dad. It's just like this constant, like, I kind of imagine it like almost puzzle pieces or whatever, like you're interlocking. And it's like, that is so realistic for a kid that age. Because all this kid wants to do is watch TV. And I'm like, same,
Yes. Same. I
literally
get
movies to
it.
fall asleep to. Like, he's literally, I want to watch my program and fall asleep in my bed. So, like, let him live. but,
Let me live.
but yeah, I think it's so nice. And everyone has such a like kind of plummy voice as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, I don't know anything about like recording equipment or whatever, but whatever they were using back then just feels very like, and also it's probably the British accent. It's very round and
Mm-hmm.
like ironically the point. They have very round
Yeah.
sounds.
Round vowel sounds. Yeah, because he also has, it's one of those things where, particularly Ringo, he's got that like the low kind of monotone, and it goes up at the end, so it's like very
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know, it's just
Uh-huh.
very warm sounding.
Yes,
And he's also, God bless the other two Beatles, but like he and Paul have very lovely speaking voices because
they
they're
do.
not hitting the nose, it's chest voice, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it's like a little nicer to listen to. But, but going back to something you said before of like when once Oblio, very fun name, but
Mhm.
also very fun hearing Richard Starling and Oblio, Very good.
Oblio.
Exactly. He once he gets into the woods, he meets like a person that has a bunch of points and therefore has no point. And I think that's an interesting thing to think about as like a kid. Of like,
Uh-huh.
you know, if something is so something,
Yeah.
it also is nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we did like
Mm.
the way we had like worksheets for each character that he met, or like we
Mhm.
had a little, and like yeah, some of them are were easier metaphors I think for my science teacher to
Mhm.
to lay out than others. But yeah, a lot of them were kind of like open ended, like yes, this person, if it's kind of like he believes everything, so what does he believe? And that's one way to read
Mhm.
You could also read it literally, like he's very distracted and therefore, doesn't make progress on any one thing because, you know, uh, yeah, there's like and neither are wrong or a right way to read it. There's no like, yes, that is the lesson
Yeah.
for Oblio.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very,
It's very
uh,
subjective,
yes.
and it's very kind of like akin to like Alice in Wonderland, where you're like, okay, all these things are happening to this child. What does it mean? And
Hmm.
it's kind of you have to sort it out for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
And
of
it,
these,
it might mean something different to you than to another kid.
for sure.
Yeah.
And like I think that um some of it's a little bit more pointed, like the tree that's trying to sell leaves, like is clearly like this is a
Yes.
caricature of like fat cats and Wall Street and that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. And it was interesting as well because right before that scene, um, I was thinking like, oh, this is actually a deeply anti-capitalist, thing where it's like you just don't gotta do nothing, and then they have this kind of caricature, and obviously like
Hmm.
it's he is a tree man. He's kind of like an ant, and he produces leaves, and then he sells the leaves, and he wants to hire Oblio, and Oblio, being like a child, cannot do that, and he says as
Hmm.
much, and then he goes, "Well, I guess you don't have any value to me," and he wanders off, and it's like
Yeah.
pretty mean, spirited,
Uh-huh.
and I think pretty indicative of an attitude where it's like, "Well, you don't have a use, so goodbye." Yeah.
Exactly. And it speaks to he's kind of right, doesn't have a point, like,
Mm-hmm.
of the other characters. He uh yeah, an indictment of, you know, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been allowed to hang out, but I guess that tree's too busy making fucking money with his fucking leaves.
So it seems. Um, yeah, I think I want to look this up real quick, but I feel like the animation studio, it just occurs to me now, it's very Yellow Submarine. I wonder if it's the same one because like
It is very Yellow Submarine.
yeah, because like Harry Nilsson was good friends with all the Beatles, and and I would imagine that it was like kind of the same circle at the very least. Um,
Yeah.
mhm. Do you have a favorite character that he meets along the way?
Oh, that is a great question. I did always like the dancing ladies
Mm-hmm.
just because again it's like they also don't really have a point other than like this is lovely to watch, like
Mm-hmm.
they're dancing and jumping and yeah, it almost feels like the narrative stops for a minute just to like have
Yeah.
their scene, which
Yeah.
I think is fun and again is kind of the one of the points of the
Mm-hmm.
many points of this pointless forest is that yeah, again, like some art, they're dancing for them, I guess for us
Mm-hmm.
too, but yeah, as far as like a narratively there's no real point to it, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is such like a fun meta like
Yeah.
yeah, I enjoyed them,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think they're really lovely, and it is just nice to have kind of just everything stop and have a ballet for 2 minutes. More films should do that,
absolutely,
I think.
yes, we
I have
would be
a,
better for it.
I think so. I have a letterbox list that's slightly related, which is like movies where everything stops to let a musical number happen. And it's like I saw the
Mhm.
TV Glow, Blue Velvet, and then Return of the Jedi. You know,
Absolutely.
where it's like
Yes,
we're
yes.
stopping the movie, everyone get off,
Yes.
someone's gonna sing. It kind of feels similarly to that. Yeah. There was something else I was going to say. It also feels very sort of Charlie Brown, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of tackles like a similar topic, kid feeling depressed kid among undepressed peers, like
Truly. I got into this huge debate with my family of like, is Charlie Brown depressed or do his friends suck?
I think that's a great question. Like, is he a realist?
Mm-hmm.
And they just can't, they're not ready for that,
Yeah, and also like almost all of his friends are like mean to him, and it's like one of these things of like, does his temperament off-put people, or did his temperament become, did he become
A
depressed? 'Cause-
response.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
Chicken
right.
and egg,
Is he
nature
a
nurture.
product of his environment or is he uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
who can
his
say?
friends do suck. I guess
Yeah,
Linus doesn't,
Linus is
but
still like he's like a good friend, but he's not necessarily nice all the time. He'll be
no. And
like,
he's not
you
there to
need
cheer him up ever. Like
truly not.
ever.
Yeah, he's truly like even the Christmas special is like Charlie Brown. I don't know what's wrong with you. You should just enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't know, man. Just read the Bible. That's a bad friend, actually. It's a terrible friend.
Yeah, not exactly sound advice. Let's see. We talked about that. Do you have a favorite like besides the characters he meets? Who else stands out? Just like I'm kind of like out of like general questions, so just talk about what you like about the movie, please.
For days and days I can talk about honestly, I have a little pin. I almost wore it.
Mm.
It's over there, but it's of Oblio and Arrow. Uh I think there is something so comforting about being a kid and having a friend like that, even if it's an animal or a person, just someone where even if at school, like everything sucks, or in Charlie Brown's world, his environment
Mm-hmm.
sucks. Charlie Brown doesn't have. Oh, he's got Snoopy.
Literally, he's got Snoopy.
Literally got Snoopy, who is also not that great of a friend.
No,
So
he is in fact kind of a bastard.
kind of a bad friend.
Which is
So
what I
maybe
love
not so
about
much. Having some sort of idea of like a safe space as a kid
Mhm.
is like so important. And if it's not at school, hopefully it is somewhere else. Hopefully it is with your dog or your cat or your neighbor across the street or home. I do think that I feel like the movie would be so lonely if it was simply Oblio and
Yeah.
not with Arrow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 I very much agree. I also like that like the king who gets like persuaded to kick Oblio out
Hmm.
is so like weak-willed and like, oh, I mean, I guess we could do that. And
I mean, gosh.
that's very good. I don't know.
Okay.
And everyone's sort of disbelieving about it.
Hmm.
And we should also note that the reason he gets kicked out is the opposite of Charlie Brown, which is he wins a game at
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And but the king is such a pushover, and also everyone in the town is like, we don't like that you're doing this, and yet they do nothing.
Yes. Yeah. It's like everyone's in agreement. This is a very cruel punishment for a child.
Mhm.
Tall poppy syndrome. He wins the game. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like a kid we'd want to keep around.
Mhm.
But
But he's too different. You got to get him out of there, I
he's
guess.
too different. His bully's connected.
That's true. Nepo baby, truly.
Nepo baby. You can't go up against the bigwig in
Can't go
whatever
against the
small town
system.
you're in.
Yeah, it's true. I would say the only place that this movie lost me was like the sequence with like the bird. It's kind of like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And it just feels like very kind of Lord of the Rings of like, oh, we're just getting them from place to place. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. In a quick-ish manner. Yes.
Yeah, it's just quick, what is it in video games? You like quick spawn or whatever,
Yeah, yes.
But yeah, I have had Me and My Arrow stuck in my head ever since. It's such a catchy tune.
It's so catchy.
Yeah, it's really
It's so
lovely.
great.
Yeah. Oh, something I think is very funny is the way this whole thing came about is Harry Nielsen was like, I was on acid,
Yeah.
and then I looked at the trees and went, oh, they all have points. What's that about? And
Yo,
that's
what's that
literally
about?
the whole thing. And it, you know,
Which is so funny because like my teacher must have known that, right? Like she
truly.
didn't obviously didn't tell us that like that's where this all came from, but like when she was designing this entire unit, she was like, "Oh, this man took LSD." Yeah,
He must have. Like, I feel like that was mostly Harry's sort of
the whole thing,
creative,
right?
yeah, practice. Yeah, let me get really high and think of some weird shit.
Yeah.
Which, you know, there were, I suppose, I was gonna say there were worse things. I mean, he was in ill health for most of his life,
True, true.
but he did teach us how to put a lime in a coconut.
And shake it all up. He did.
And yeah, I recently, for another episode, talked about practical magic. Famously, that is in that film very
Uh-huh.
prominently.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, I feel like we've covered a lot about this, but I guess
Mhm.
my a further question would be like, what other comfort movies do you have? What are things you keep returning to that might also fit the theme?
Absolutely. The one that's like almost my go-to, but again, I felt like I couldn't pick it because I would never sacrilegiously fall asleep to this film.
Sure.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. It is
Oh.
just one of my
Mhm.
favorites. Love, love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Have you
Oh
seen?
yeah. I've seen it a couple
Okay.
times,
Yeah.
and I feel like it has a similar quality of
Similar
like.
quality. Similar quality. It's my favorite disappointing dad story.
Yes.
And I think it's so rare to see, a bad dad narrative where it's like he does like redeem himself. He
Yeah.
fucking wages war to like fix his wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
And becomes humbled by his ego,
Mm-hmm.
uh which I just think is lovely.
Yeah.
I love all the characters. I love Christopherson, Ash, the two
Mm-hmm.
kids, they're all cousins.
Yeah.
um Love
I
it. Love
love
Meryl Streep's performance.
I love the line. What is it? If what I think is happening in here is, it better not be.
Yes.
Is so good.
It's so good. Delivered so straight.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Hmm.
Would you count? Would you count? Um, The Point as a bad dad
That's
movie?
a good question.
Because fathers aren't exactly showing up.
It's interesting because it is a father telling his kid this story in a story where one father is a king, does something terrible, and the other father is like not present.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if he's like talking about himself. Maybe his father
Mm,
wasn't around, but he is
interesting.
now around to give stories to his son. You know,
That's
I don't, that's
interesting.
that's definitely not textual.
No.
But it's British people, so like they're just like
Sure. It's like, yeah, it's kind of inferred. I mean,
kind of
my
inferred.
dad was too busy being shot at the Blitz to really be there for me, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, he does say, like, back in my day, people were, you know, kids would listen to their fathers telling stories. And so it is this
Yes.
sort of like he's desperately trying to connect with his son, but doesn't know how to at all.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's classic dad shit.
Classic dad shit.
Yeah, I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've only seen it a couple of times, but I do love stop motion. But it is always like David Sims from Blank Check often says this of like anytime you see stop motion animation, you're like, oh, for me, all of this, like, this is a lot of work, guys. I don't know. You feel kind of guilty of like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? But yeah.
I think that's why I'm so proud of Fantastic Mr. Fox for going there with the story, because it is so much time, and like everything bristles, like the movement of the movement of the piece is just so beautiful. I love the soundtrack as well. And yeah, it's so much work for them to write this dad who like completely like only cares about himself. Not only that, puts his entire family in danger to go to swing all the way and have him, confront it's really like his ego death kind of is like the story of the film. Yeah.
I dare say, I think Wes Anderson might have an issue with his father.
One might say, or the opposite, where he had a very good relationship, and this is like comparing his relationship to his friend, other people.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, there's that sort of like, to bring someone up that we both love so much with like David Lynch as well. It was like he clearly saw something. It was like, I don't understand this. How can I try and figure it out?
Yeah. I don't understand this cruelty. Like,
what are we doing here?
What? Why? What happened?
Yep.
Why?
Why did he have to be so mean?
Yes.
But
you say you love women. I don't know.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it. So it might be that. It might that like he didn't have like. It might just be like he saw something growing up and it was like eating at him. Did you see Phoenician Scheme?
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I will say my favorite of his in a long while. Very good.
Same.
Yeah.
We won't give away the moment, but let's just say Michael Cera.
Yes. Incredible performance.
Nailed it.
Big year for Michael Cera doing good work in movies. He's great in Running Man too.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I agree. The whole movie was like, oh yeah. We're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah, we are so back. Him going,
we're so back.
Myself, I'm not worried at all, is like very good. But yeah, I will say, out of Wes's canon, I think Life Aquatic is probably my favorite. But that's mostly to do with like the aesthetics of it. It's just like I like that look.
Yes.
It's so fun.
It is iconic.
I love Cate Blanchett, so happy to see her. Always. Do you think there should have been more comeuppance for the Count and his son? Because they kind of just like Sauron and Wormtongue duck into the castle,
Yes. I do, except also for some reason with this film, and again probably because it is like the rolling nature of the story, I think it kind of disarms you from needing a like narrative I guess justice, or like and it almost disarms you for that kind of and again, I don't know if it's just like the musicality of it or the I think yes, if you made this film today, you would have like you would have to you'd have to do a lot of you'd have to like
a lot of stuff. You'd have to add a plot to it.
Yes. This is literally a very plotless situations happen, characters happen.
So is like what we would call a passive protagonist.
Absolutely. Which is like a very rare thing to encounter. So in that regard, it's very interesting, but I also think that's probably why, at least for me, it's like, by the end of it, I'm not really,
engaged in the same way.
Right.
I would say as well, like the plot is literally boy goes into the woods.
Yeah.
End of thought. End of sentence.
End of thought. Brain
Yeah.
no thought.
Brain no thought. But yeah, I really do love the pointless. I really love the Rock character, who's like a jazz
Yes.
musician. He's like, "Hey, baby, everything's all right," and I'm like,
Yeah.
is
Hell
so of
yeah.
its time, of like
Yeah.
Wolfman Jack and all that stuff. It's so good.
Yes.
And I do love that, like, there's this theme with these adults with Oblio, where he's like trying to figure out why everything is like this, and the adults are like, "Don't worry about it, man." Like, just
Yeah,
constantly
yeah. Don't think about
interrupting
it
this
too
kid,
hard.
and you're just like, he's just trying to understand the world, please. Apparently, by the way, there's a musical version of this, like a stage musical version of this, which is
Really?
crazy. Bring it back.
Bring that back.
Yeah, it was.
Wow. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh my God. The production of
Shuffleboard?
the play reunited former Monkees Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones.
Would
My
love to see
parents
it.
are seeing Nikki Dolenz in concert like this week.
Hell yeah, dog! That's so
Yes.
good. I would simply love for this to. You know what? Okay, so here's the other thing that strikes me about this. I would love for them to do a revival, because this music is so unique, and
Mhm.
Harry Nilsson is was such a gifted musician. But the most important album for me from Harry is Nilsson Sings Newman, which is him
Mm,
doing covers of Randy Newman songs. And so I'm like,
yeah.
how can we combine this and Randy Newman's music together
Uh,
somehow? I think it'd be really good.
Now we're
Um,
talking. Now we're cooking.
yeah, we're cooking with gasoline, because
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Randy also has a musical that did not take off, called, which is Faust, which is like, has never worked really, but is interesting. So I'm
Yeah.
like, how can we combine these two greats? I don't know.
Maybe they need each other to
Mm,
hold up a musical, you know.
yeah,
Mm.
together they can, Um, I mean, the strongest shape is a triangle, and it is about points. So, like, you simply
That's
must,
true. That's true.
I do also like at the end of the picture where everyone's like, "Oh, by the way, we no longer have points on our heads. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Were we supposed to explain that or something?
I personally love when a movie does like a lot of hand waving like that. Like,
Yeah.
I love the film Love Lies Bleeding for that reason, because they, at the end, I mean, it's a couple of years, but if you don't want to, just skip
Uh-huh.
ahead if you don't want to get rid of it, to spoil it. You've seen the film, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she gets big, and everyone in the theater, everyone's like, "What does this mean?" I'm like, no matter what dramatic showdown, it's like, don't worry about it. She might as well
Yeah.
just Hulk out, turn big, and squish him.
Yes. Because she deserves to. That should be enough
Yeah.
for you.
Number one guess. Number two is like, just don't worry about it. They just win, you know? Which I
Because
love
she
so
can.
much. She can. Oh, the movie's so good. I started watching on my way back from New Zealand this last time. I started watching it on the plane and immediately forgot how much like explicit lesbian sex there is in this. And I was like, this is not an airplane watch. Yeah, I was like,
Start looking over
let
your
me
shoulder.
just quick do something else with my time. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, I'll say this. What else you got? What else you want to talk about? I know you have to get going soon, but
I do, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I will say, speaking of like music and art, I'm going to see House of Kong, which is like Gorilla's like installation piece
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And I'm not allowed to take photos, so I can't even share photos of it. Apparently, they take your phone away or whatever. But I am excited. So because I don't know what to expect because they take people's phones
Yeah,
away.
because no one's just press it.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say about this film other than you should watch it if you haven't seen
You
it.
should watch it. It is such an easy watch. Like it's on YouTube.
It's on
for free.
YouTube for free.
Pop it on.
It's only an hour and 14 minutes. Go crazy.
Yes.
I watched it while I was cleaning my room. It's great for that.
That's perfect. That's the perfect. Or you know what? Fall asleep to it. I feel like those
Yeah.
are the two
Yeah, it's a
Two
great
activities.
secondary activity, you know? It's just
Uh-huh.
on, and it'll probably now be something I go to just, like, put on. Because I was also, like, at a certain point, you're just listening to a musical album, which is also nice.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
nice.
Yes.
Well, I wanna thank you for doing the Potto.
Thank you.
Always
Thank you
lovely
for
to
having
talk to you
me.
about movies, and,
Yes.
yeah, go watch Dreamhouse and go watch Maggie's, videos and stuff. Yeah?
Yeah. Fall asleep to them.
Yeah,
Fall asleep.
do it.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. We